Most of our songs come straight out of the scriptures. So we put in the opening of the song on the slide, we'll put the scripture that it's coming from. So if you want to open up your word, follow along there, you're welcome to. Or you can just tip into the slide. This one is not from the scriptures, therefore that doesn't have any scripture reference to it. But nonetheless, it's giving praise to Yahuwah for all that he is to his people throughout the ages. And he deserves all of the glory. All of the praise that we can heap upon him, it will never be enough. It all belongs to him.
In Jeremiah 33:11 says, the voice of joy and the voice of gladness, the voice of bridegroom and the voice of the bride, the voice of them that shall say, praise Yahuwah Sabaoth, for Yahuwah is good, for his mercy endures forever. And of them that shall bring the sacrifice of praise into the house of Yahuwah, for I will cause to return the captivity of the land as at the first, says Yahuwah. Hallelujah. All the glory belongs. All the glory belongs to you. All the glory belongs to you. Oh yeah. Yahweh, Yahweh. All the glory belongs. All the glory belongs to you. All the glory belongs to you. Oh yeah. Yahweh, Yahweh. All the glory belongs. All the glory belongs to you.
We don't take it lightly that the obedience brings about just so much joy and seeing the growth and seeing Yah be able to use someone in a new place and in a new way, and also seeing the rewards to them. That their heart is pricked, that heart of stone starts to turn that heart of flesh, and Yah just breaks up some new ground here. It's beautiful to see and thank you for watching. We hope that you guys
will continue to open up your mind, open up your heart to what the Most High is trying to reveal through His Word, through the songs, through the psalms, and the praises that He's given to His people. I always wonder, because we pull these songs out of the scriptures in psalms, which means praise. I wonder if this is what they sounded like originally. I wonder if we're just being given back something that the Most High planned and planted in us for us ages ago. And it just encourages my soul to think that we're returning to our first love. Je voudrais habiter toute ma vie dans la maison.
I would like to live forever in the house of Yahuwah.
Dans la maison de l'Éternel. So the Most High has given us 2, 3, 4, 5 with Ebonics languages. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
That's true, man.
Bow down your ear, O Yahuwah, hear me, for I am poor and needy. Guard my soul, for I am holy. O El High, save your servant that trust in you. Be merciful unto me, O Yah. For I cry to you. For I cry unto you. Daily. Rejoice the soul of your servant, O Lord. Unto you. For unto you, O Adonai, do I lift up my soul. Unto you, O Adonai, do I lift up my soul? Do I lift up my soul unto you, O Adonai, do I lift up my soul? Do I lift up my soul for you? Oh, Adonai, art good and ready to forgive in mercy unto all. They call on you. They call on you. Be merciful. Unto me, O Yah. For I cry to you. Daily. Rejoice the soul
be all our prayer.
Yes.
Yes.
Clean heart. So we won't sin against him. So we won't transgress his laws.
Daily.
So we'll be keepers and doers of his word.
Weekly. Monthly.
As he is to us. Not one promise broken. Not one promise left unfulfilled. What he said he shall do. You can rest on it. Stand on it. Firm in your conviction. That our Abba is the truth and our light. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
On this day of rest, we're going to sing of his sweet shalom, the peace that surpasses all understanding. Yeah. That's some good stuff.
Come on, Jordani.
Shalom.
Huh?
top Hebrew word say? We got a yod, right? What's next?
The rest.
A resh
And the olive.
and an olive. Say, you can say Yara, right? Yara or Yahweh, you may hear that every now and then.
Yahweh.
We'll get to it, but I want y'all to hear it, understand it, and see it. It says Yahweh, right? Say it.
Yahweh.
All right, just keep that and just hold on to that for me, please. How great is he? Hopefully we get to that. You guys looking on? So you get next. Before we get there, let's go ahead and get through our statements. Let's start from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, let's go.
We are learning to walk through obedience to Torah together, building in Ahava and Anva, from the Ab to the Yasab, and Ruach, Yeshua, Ben Yahuwah.
All right. What is Ahava?
Love.
And what is Anva?
Meekness.
What is Anva?
Meekness.
What is Anva?
Meekness.
I want y'all to hold on to that. Now, the first word that we saw was what at the beginning? No, the first word that we saw that we just sounded out in Hebrew is Yahweh. All right, Anva, Yahweh. Y'all don't know what Yahweh is just yet because I haven't said it. But just remember it. Get that into your system. Get that into your group. Okay. All right. Now I did some research, and I was trying to find a photo to deal with the rich man and the beggar, or really the rich man and Lazarus, right?
Yeah.
And this is what came up. Now, who do y'all think is who?
Go to beggar, skinny dog.
Okay, and who would be considered the rich man?
The woman, white.
You know, when I first looked at this, I could not sound that. Y'all are smart. I'm being honest, because I was like, this don't look right. But we'll see once we read, right? Now let's go ahead and get the first reader. Yeah, we're gonna read, y'all. We're gonna go to Lucas 16:18.
All praise.
Because I'm gonna get you to do the other stuff.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
No, I don't mind.
All right. Say what? Just the screen. Can you see it from here? Oh, wait, hold on.
Did you say you can see it?
And when I say that, I'm saying that in out of love. You already know.
There was a certain rich man which was clothed in purple and fine
He was
linen.
clothed in purple and fine linen. All right, this comes out of Luke. Luke is 16:18.
And fared sumptuously every day.
Now hold on. What is the word fared? Can anybody guess?
Meaning nice looking.
Oh, no.
That's fair.
No, like you appear.
Now you said lavish and dealings, and you said
I said like nice looking.
nice looking.
Appearance. How he might appear.
Like he had a
Because
good-
he
he had a
appeared
good
sumptuously. He appeared.
That's good. What about sumptuously? Because I'm telling you, I don't use these words every day. Maybe y'all do. I don't use sumptuously. No, that's not me. What you got?
The scripture. Where is that?
That's
What, Luke 16? What do y'all have?
What,
Does it say that?
18 to 31, verse 16,
Go for it.
chapter 16, verse 18 through 31.
something different. But you gotta go to 19. It starts at 19. It doesn't start at 18.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
Right? It starts at 19. There was a certain rich man.
Oh, sorry, yeah, one more verse, y'all. 19. We good? We straight? I messed up on one number. But thank you for the correction. Don't get it twisted. I thank you for the correction. I will take it. My bad. Believe me, after this, I have no problem saying my bad. All right?
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you that right now. So that's on me. I'll take that. All right. So we were at sumptuously.
Yeah.
Anybody want to help out on sumptuously?
Like something that's rich quality.
Okay. Rich in quality. So the first one we had fair, which is now the archaic version is going to be just somebody who travels.
Oh.
That's what we're looking at. Somebody fair. Like we say, well, you pay for your. There you go.
Fair.
There you go. Now, sumptuously is back to what now y'all was talking about on the first one, which is splendid, expensive looking, okay? Lavish, somebody said lavish, and deluxe, opulent, all of that stuff. So let's go back. It says now you're talking about somebody that's clothed, this rich man, that's clothed in the fine linen purple, travels lavishly. That's a trip for me, I ain't gonna lie. The rich man travels lavishly. I gotta do the dips with that, yes. And it's every day. Continue on, please. I'm not gonna read it. Go ahead, every day. Go ahead.
There was a certain beggar named Eleazar, which was laid at his gate full of sores and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked the sores.
All right, pause right there. Now, that's weird for me. Dogs licking sores.
They do that though.
It's no, if you're out in the street and there's dog and you have an open source,
They come and lick it.
They lick it because there's something in the dog's tongue
Something
that
that
actually
heals it. Yeah.
That's not me every day, y'all. I don't know what that So of course I had to look it up.
Yeah.
And yes, there's benefits of wound licking. The enzymes in the dog's saliva help to destroy the cell wall's dangerous bacteria. I can't say that word, lectiform and other antibacterial and antiviral compounds can also be found in their saliva. Licking a wound delivers protest inhibitors. I got this from some website, some dog, animal net website. And growth factors, which promote wound healing. They say that word was whatever it is a pain reliever. Finally, when meeting the skin, nitrate compounds in the saliva break down into nitric oxide, inhibiting bacterial growth and promoting healing. Now, let me make sure I say this very, and I know we live. If you got a wound, I will tell you to consult your physician first and foremost.
but if you ain't got a doctor,
In the great position, I would say definitely in the great position. It ain't gonna be me. It ain't gonna say Baker Irene has something to do with you not healing from your wounds.
Now, we can't mistake dogs licking wounds with dogs licking in your face and the mouth.
Right.
Just make that clear.
I mean, and you know this website, it was talking about like how they your mouths are cleaner and stuff. I'm like, nah. I understand it is, but like you said,
I ain't not doing it.
I ain't made it there yet. If that's what your thing is, it's different strokes for different folks. That's the thing. Ain't nothing in the scriptures against this.
It's like that dog. We
left off at the dog looking at sword.
And it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom.
Okay. The angels were carried in Abraham's bosom. Y'all please go ahead.
The rich man also died and was buried, and in Sheol he lifted up his eyes, being in torment, and sees Abraham far off, and Eleazar in his bosom. And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me.
Now pause there. Now let's make sure we caught up. We got the person, and it came to pass when the beggar died, he was carried by the angels by the Malachim into Abraham's bosom. But the rich man, buried, he was already in Sheol, and his eyes, being in torment, saw Abraham far off. So I want to make sure we know where we are on that. But he's asking for Abraham, he's talking to Abraham, saying, have mercy on me. Please, and send Eleazar.
And send Eleazar that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame.
Now hold on. Now, y'all saying that it's hot in Sheol like this?
Yes.
We ain't even got into what? What's the second
It's
death?
the lake of fire. It's not even the lake of fire.
It's not even the lake of fire yet. But he's saying, can I just get a little cool water?
Yes.
Just a drop.
Please give me a drop.
So the precept is going to Ezra, which we have all read.
This is what I'm doing. You already know. Ezra 7.
Yeah.
4th Ezra, right? 7 that we read. Hallelujah. That's why I had you read. All right. Go ahead, but Abraham, sir, please.
But Abraham said, Son, remember that you in your lifetime received your good things, and likewise Eleazar evil things. But now he is comforted, and you are tormented. And besides all this, between us and you, there is a great gulf fixed.
Shouts out to Corey. I already know you're doing your thing. Yes, great gulf fix is going to be waters, right? where I'm from, we're by from Orange, Texas, right? We're by the Gulf of what?
Mexico.
There you go. Different gulfs all around, but we already know. So there's a gulf that obviously separates. That's what the scripture say.
Yeah.
That separates us from them. Yeah.
So that which would pass from hence to you cannot, neither can they pass to us that would come from thence.
Mm-hmm.
Then he said, I pray you therefore, Father, that you would send him to my father's house.
He's asking Abraham, please send Eliezer to my father's house. Why?
For I have 5 brethren, that he may testify unto them, lest they also come into this place of torment.
So obviously he knows that his brothers are sort of like him, rich too. Thinking that, and he's like, look, man, they ain't living like they're supposed to be living, based off of what you're supposed to read. We're going to get to what they're reading right now. Y'all probably already ahead. Go ahead, sir, please.
Abraham said unto him, they have Moshe and the prophets, let them hear them.
Oh, wait. We in the where? We in the what testament?
The new.
We're in the New Testament. How much you can say? Look. Abraham's actually speaking in the New Testament through Christ, right?
Yeah.
Just give him the commandments.
Give Moshe.
Give him Moshe.
Give prophets.
Give him his Torah. Give him his instructions. Give him his life.
Give them that.
In the New Testament. That
That's right.
sounds eerily similar to what's that story there with the young rich?
Yeah.
Ruler.
That's
He
right.
tells him also.
Yeah.
I want to just keep the commandments.
Yes.
Keep the commandments. You know what I'm saying? You know the commandments. The rich young ruler said, I can't do it. I cannot drop everything, sell everything, and then go follow you.
Thank you.
I ain't giving up my stuff.
Yeah, right.
That's just, so we just see it sort of repeated. All right, yes, sir, go ahead. And Abraham's going to tell us
And he
straight up.
said, nay, Father Abraham, but if one went unto them from the dead, they would repent.
That's what he's saying. Oh.
And he said unto him, if they hear not Moshe and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded, though one rose from the dead.
So they ain't listening to the Torah, and they're not even going to listen to somebody being raised from the dead. See, when you're dealing with Hamashiach's story, whether you're dealing with secular historians or current ones, most secular historians are okay with him dying and him being buried. But the issue then comes from the resurrection.
That's right.
That's what most historians are going to have an issue with. Even though we see that it says that he's been revealed up to like 500 some odd people. Right in the New Testament. I ain't got the scripture right there, but y'all know the scripture I'm talking about. If you don't, please go check it out. So that's interesting. Just to make sure we got a lot of context here. We got a rich man who is trying his best to for one, just get a little bit of water in Sheol. Secondly, he's trying to get his brethren who are like him to get out. So he's trying to give his brethren a chance, you guys, a chance just to get out, just to make it. All right, move on. This is all going to have this context to it. All right? All right, let me go ahead and get another reading. Let me see, I'm going to go with, okay, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yes, sir, you, Marshall. Can we pass on the mic?
Yes, gladly. I'm sorry I was interrupted.
Hold your post. Hold your post, all right. You got good eyes.
What's the request?
Please read this. Okay, this is going to come out of say it for me, please. Galatine 6. Something that was put in the chat not too long ago, right? The whole chapter of Galatians 6.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and start, please. 6 to 11. Am I right on 6 to 11? I'm not being facetious, I'm being serious. Okay, cool. All right, cool. Yeah.
Let him that is taught in the word communicate unto him that teaches in all good things. Be not deceived. God is not mocked.
He is not what?
Mocked.
He is not mocked. Go ahead.
For whatsoever a man sows, that shall he also reap.
So the rich man sowed what? You had your riches. You had your time. You got yours. But you weren't trying to listen to Moshe in this 2,000 years ago. They had all of that. Okay? They had teachers. They still had the Levitical, all of that stuff. Anyway, please continue, please.
For he that sows to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption.
Yeah.
But he that sows the Ruach shall of the Ruach reap life everlasting.
Oh, so you got to sow into the spirit, to the Ruach.
Uh-huh.
So that Ruach has a very important role in how it is that you move. That's how you would say salvation.
Yeah. Right.
All right, please, sir.
And let us not be weary in well-doing.
Don't be weird.
For in due season we shall reap, if we faint not.
Mm-hmm.
As we have therefore opportunity,
No.
let us do good unto all men.
Let us do good unto all men. Let us do good unto all men. Let us do good unto who?
All men.
Now we're going to get to something a little bit more granular. What's the next one say?
Especially unto them who are of the household of
Wait.
belief.
Okay.
Now, you know, especially under those who are the household of belief.
Yeah.
But all men,
All.
but especially under those who are in here. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
We'll continue on, please.
Good stuff.
You see how large a supper I have written unto you with my own
With
hand.
his own hand. Hallelujah. All right. So hopefully y'all seeing how that can be a little bit of context for what we just read. All right, now we're going to jump to this. This is all just going to be, it's going to seem like it's detached, but I'm telling you it's all together. All right. Now I need you, sir, that mic. Oh, let's see if this is going to work.
It's gonna work.
Okay. Now, oh, I forgot to ask a question. I was gonna say, how many of y'all know about?
Yeah.
How many of y'all know about Tulsa? And I was gonna ask, how many other ones do y'all know about?
Yes.
But now y'all.
I know about other ones.
Yeah. Usually ain't nobody hip to 8, at least 8. Let's see if this works. Okay. So y'all read the title. 8 successful and black inspiring communities destroyed by white men. And it's just information, y'all. So just we'll get.
It's a lot more, but yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. We can say that. All right. So now we're gonna talk about the Atlanta race riots. Go ahead.
The Atlanta race riots of 1906.
Mm-hmm.
When the Civil War ended, African Americans in Atlanta began entering. I better read it off my phone because that might go too fast.
Right. That's why I gave that to you earlier, son. Bear with us.
Bear with us.
We good.
In Atlanta began entering the realm of politics, establishing businesses and gaining notoriety as a social class.
Mm-hmm.
Increasing tensions between black wage workers and the white elite began to grow, and ill feelings were further exacerbated when blacks gained more civil rights, including the right to vote.
Mm-hmm.
The tensions exploded during a gubernatorial election of 1906, in which M. Hoke Smith and Clark Howell competed for the Democratic nomination. Both candidates were looking for ways to disenfranchise African American voters because they each felt that the black vote could throw the election onto another candidate. Hoke Smith was a former publisher of the Atlanta Journal, and Clark Howell was the editor of the Atlanta Constitution. Both candidates used their influence to incite white voters and help spread the fear that whites may not be able to maintain the current social order. The Atlanta Georgian and the Atlanta News began publishing stories about white women being molested and raped by black men. These allegations were reported multiple times and were largely false. On September 22nd, 1906, Atlanta newspapers reported 4 alleged assaults on local white women. Soon, some 10,000 white men and boys began gathering, beating, and stabbing blacks. It is estimated that there were between 25 and 40 African American deaths. It was confirmed that there were only 2 white deaths.
Now we've talked about this in the past. If something has been on camera one time, you think it's only been one time? That's not what's happening.
It was already happening.
Y'all have thinking minds, so I appreciate that. All right, we got another one coming up, right? We already know mainly about this one.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we know about it. Go ahead.
You want to get it?
Okay,
all right.
Greenwood, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Black Wall Street, May 31st through June 1st, 1921. During the oil boom of the 1910s, the area of northeast Oklahoma around Tulsa flourished, including the Greenwood neighborhood, which came to be known as the Black Wall Street. The area was home to several lawyers, realtors, doctors, and prominent black businessmen, many of them multi-millionaires. Greenwood boasted a variety of thriving businesses such as grocery stores, clothing stores, barbershops, banks, hotels, cafes, movie theaters, 2 newspapers, and many contemporary homes. Greenwood residents enjoyed many luxuries that their white neighbors did not, including indoor plumbing, and a remarkable school system. The dollar circulated 36
How many times?
36 to 100 times.
In that neighborhood.
In that neighborhood, wow, yeah. Sometimes taking a year for the currency
How
to
long?
leave. Sometimes taking a year for the currency to leave the community. How fast is it right now?
Y'all can do your own research and find out how long it takes today.
A couple of hours.
Yeah.
Like something like this. Not like
If that,
seconds.
yeah, seconds. The neighborhood was destroyed during a riot that broke out after a group of men from Greenwood attempted to protect a young black man from a lynch mob. On the night of May 31st, 1921, a mob called for the lynching of Dick Rowland, a black man who shined shoes after reports spread that on the previous day he had assaulted Sarah Page, a white woman, in the elevator she was operating in a downtown building. In the early morning hours of June 1st, 1921, Black Tulsa was looted, firebombed from the air. That is the first time that Americans
From the air.
were bombed.
Domestically.
Yes, domestically, yes. And burned down by white rioters. The governor declared martial law. The National Guard troops arrived in Tulsa. Guardsmen assisted firemen in putting out fires, removed abducted African Americans from the hands of white vigilantes, and imprisoned all black Tulsans not already confined into a prison camp in the convention hall or the fairgrounds, some for as long as 8 days. In wake of the violence, 35 city blocks lay in charred ruins. Over 800 people were treated for injuries, and estimated 300 deaths occurred.
Once again, estimated.
Can I add something to that?
Go ahead.
There was over $1 million back then in insurance claims that were put in. Not one insurance claim was granted. They said that they had started, the blacks had started the riots, and the insurance companies denied any insurance claims, so all those people that lost their homes.
And the fact that it came from the air lets you know that the government was in on it because they have air control, like they have control over the air. So even if it was a private plane that someone had got and had a bomb, which I doubt.
They made Molotov cocktails. That's how, that was the bomb from the air.
So they got a.
You had World War I pilots that went to the airfield and got the planes. Remember back then they didn't have the FFA or FA.
Yeah, that's right.
So they went and got.
So there was no air traffic control.
Right, crop duster planes, things like that, and they bombed. Matter of fact, my son asked his teacher about, when she was talking about the planes going into 9/11.
Is that the first time?
Yeah, well, my son said, well, what about Black Wall Street? That community was bombed by the air. She went back to the chalkboard, kept writing.
And moving on.
Anyway.
Okay.
There was no extra credit.
There was no extra credit for you.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you got to play the field. They know what to do. Yes, sir, Chicago race.
The Chicago race riots of 1919. The Red Summer of 1919 marked the culmination of steadily growing tensions surrounding the Great Migration. My phone keeps jumping, sorry. Of African Americans from the rural South to cities of the North during World War I. Chicago was one of the northern cities that experienced violent race riots during that period. Drawn to the city's meatpacking houses, railway companies, and steel mills, the African American population in Chicago skyrocketed from 44,000 in 1910 to 235,000 in 1930. When the war ended in late 1918, thousands of white servicemen, advertisements, where am I? Let me get up there. Return home. I'm trying to find it because my phone skipped. Okay. Returned home from fighting in Europe to find that their jobs in factories, warehouses, and mills had been filled by newly arrived Southern blacks and immigrants. On July 27, 1919, an African-American teenager drowned in Lake Michigan after he challenged the unofficial segregation of Chicago's beaches and was stoned by a group of white youths. His death and the police refusal to arrest the men who caused it sparked a week of race rioting between black and white Chicagoans, with black neighborhoods receiving the worst of the damage. When the riots ended on August 3rd, 15 whites and 23 blacks had been killed and more than 500 people injured. An additional 1,000 black families had lost their homes when they were torched by rioters. President Woodrow Wilson castigated the white race as the aggressor in the Chicago uprising.
Yeah, I mean, that's Woodrow Wilson said that.
I know.
Yeah. Woodrow Wilson said that? Wow.
Yeah.
Woodrow Wilson said that. I know. Hey, it's
Interesting.
Yeah.
Facts are facts, but they're interesting.
Okay, Rosewood Massacre of 1923. Rosewood was a quiet, self-sufficient whistle stop on the Seaboard Airline Railway in Florida. By 1900, the population in Rosewood had become predominantly African American. Some people farmed or worked in local businesses, including a sawmill in nearby Sumner, a predominantly white town. In 1920, Rosewood blacks had three churches, a school, a large Masonic hall,
Don't care about that.
turpentine mill, a sugarcane mill, a baseball team, and a general store. A second one was white owned. The village had about 24 plank, two-story homes, some other small houses, as well as several small unoccupied plank homes, structures. Spurred by unsupported accusations that a white woman in Sumner had been beaten and possibly
Yeah, you're gonna see a thing.
yeah, there's a little, raped by a black drifter. White men from a number of nearby towns lynched a Rosewood resident. When the black citizens defended themselves against further attacks, several hundred whites combed the countryside, hunting black people and burning almost every structure in Rosewood.
Go ahead.
Survivors hid for several days in nearby swamps and were evacuated by train and car to larger towns. Although state and local authorities were aware of the violence, they made no arrests for the activities in Rosewood. At least 6 blacks and 2 whites were killed, and the town was abandoned by black residents during the attacks. None ever returned.
Yep. We're gonna keep it moving. I know this is horrible to read, but if you read the scriptures, then you gotta read history. Ain't no wrong with that. All right, now we got also another one, which is Washington, D.C. D.C. used to be called what? Most people know.
Chocolate City.
It used to be called Chocolate City.
City of
Do
brotherly
you notice
love.
something about the year 1919? Can I bring that up?
Go ahead.
Notice something about the year 1919.
Right.
What famous sport action happened in 1919? It rocked the world. Boxing.
Boxing.
Oh, you talking about what
Joe Jackson?
he beat him?
What's his name? Jack Johnson.
Jack Johnson.
Jack Johnson
He beat that
won the
guy.
heavyweight championship
I was
in
gonna say,
1919 that summer, and that kicked off a
That's
lot
right,
of
yeah.
a lot of emotions in a
Yeah,
lot of
it did.
places.
I was gonna ask, when did Birth of a Nation come out?
I wasn't there. I guess we were.
The first Birth of a Nation.
It was earlier than
It's a little bit early.
that. It was earlier than that.
Look it up for some. Look it up for some.
Okay. Washington, D.C. Race riots in 1919. Post-war Washington, D.C., roughly 75% white, was a racial tinderbox. Housing was in short supply and jobs so scarce that ex-doughboys in uniform panhandled along Pennsylvania Avenue. Got it?
Go ahead.
Okay. However, Washington's black community was then the largest and most prosperous in the country, with a small but impressive upper class of teachers, ministers, lawyers, and businessmen concentrated in the LaDroit Park neighborhood near Howard University. By the time the Red Summer was underway, unemployed whites bitterly envied the relatively few blacks who were fortunate enough to procure low-level government jobs. Many whites also resented the influx of African Americans into previously segregated neighborhoods around Capitol Hill, Foggy Bottom, and the old downtown. In July 1919, white men, many in military uniforms, responded to the rumored arrest of a black man for rape with 4 days of mob violence. They rioted, randomly beat black people on the street, and pulled others off streetcars in attacks. When police refused to intervene, the black population fought back. Troops tried to restore order as the city closed saloons and theaters to discourage assemblies. When the violence ended, 15 people had died, 10 whites, including 2 police officers, and 5 African Americans. 50 people were seriously wounded, and another 100 less severely wounded. It was one of the few times when white fatalities outnumbered those of blacks.
Interesting.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
Knoxville, Tennessee.
Knoxville, y'all.
Again, 1919.
1919. Once again, we just did the fact checking, right?
Yeah.
First Birth of a Nation came out in 1915. And that was used to fuel all of these different groups that are willing to take people out.
Matter of fact, Woodrow Wilson said it was one of the greatest.
It was actually shown in the
White House.
White House.
Yes. And he attested to how great that movie was.
Interesting.
Yeah. In August 1919, a race riot in Knoxville, Tennessee broke out after a white mob mobilized in response to a black man accused of murdering a white woman. The 5,000-strong mob stormed the county jail searching for the prisoner. They freed 16 white prisoners, including suspected murderers. After looting the jail and the sheriff's house, the mob moved on and attacked the African American business district. Many of the city's black residents, aware of the race riots that had occurred across the country that summer, had armed themselves and barricaded the intersection of Vine and Central to defend their businesses. 2 platoons of the Tennessee National Guard's 4th Infantry, led by Adjutant General Edward Sweeney, arrived, but they were unable to halt the chaos. The mob broke into stores and stole firearms and other weapons on their way to the black business district. Upon their arrival, the streets erupted in gunfire as black snipers exchanged fire with both the rioters and the soldiers. The Tennessee National Guard at one point fired 2 machine guns indiscriminately into the neighborhood, eventually dispersing the rioters. Shooting continued sporadically for several hours. Outgunned, the black defenders gradually fled, allowing the guardsmen to gain control of the area. Newspapers placed the death toll at just 2, though witness accounts suggest the dead were so many that the bodies were dumped into the Tennessee River, while others were buried in mass graves outside the city.
They're only reporting.
The guy that was accused in that jail cell, the sheriffs, I know about this because NPR had a story on it this week.
Okay.
They actually dressed him up as a woman to get him away from the crowd. He was never caught by that mob because he was falsely accused. He was prominent and he liked white women and yada, yada, yada. He got himself in trouble that way. The judge had told him, hey, they got him out of that jail cell by dressing him up as a woman and get him out of there. Yeah.
New York City draft riot of 1863. The draft riot of 1863 was a 4-day eruption of violence in New York City during the Civil War, stemming from deep worker discontent with the inequities of the first federal mandated conscription laws. In addition, the white working class feared that emancipation of enslaved blacks would cause an influx of African American workers from the South. In many instances, employers used black workers as strikebreakers during the period. Thus, white rioters eventually turned their wrath on the homes and businesses of innocent African Americans and anything else symbolic of their growing political, economic, and social power. On July 13, 1863, organized opposition broke out across the city. The protests soon morphed into a violent uprising against the city's wealthy elite and its African American residents. The 4-day draft riot was finally quelled by police cooperating with the 7th New York Regiment. Estimates vary greatly on the number of people killed, though most historians believe around 115 people lost their lives, including nearly a dozen black men who were lynched after they were brutally beaten. Hundreds of buildings were destroyed, causing millions of dollars in damage. Up to 50 of the damaged buildings had been burned to the ground by rioters. Including the Colored Orphan Asylum, which housed more than 230 black children.
That one was, and that's in New York, right? New York, if you talk in New York, like if you ever deal with people on the East Coast, think that we just behind and stuff like that. You know, you know, and I'm like, okay. Let me pull up what it's been like over there too. But anyway, I'm serious. I had debates on a lot of people things. Yeah, East St. Louis.
The East St. Louis Massacre of 1917. During spring 1917, blacks were arriving in St. Louis at the rate of 2,000 per week, with many of them finding work at the Aluminum Ore Company and the American Steel Company in East St. Louis. Some whites feared a loss of job and wage security because of the new competition, and further resented newcomers arriving from a rural, very different culture. Tensions between the groups ran high and escalated when rumors were spread about black men and white women socializing at labor meetings. In May, 3,000 white men gathered in downtown East St. Louis. The roving mob began burning buildings and attacking black people. The Illinois governor called in the National Guard to prevent further rioting, and conditions eased somewhat for a few weeks. Then on July 1st, white men driving a car through a black neighborhood began shooting into houses, stores, and a church. A group of black men organized themselves to defend against the attackers. As they gathered, they mistook an approaching car for the same one that had earlier driven through the neighborhood, and they shot and killed both men in the car, who were, in fact, police detectives sent to calm the situation. The shooting of the detectives incensed a growing crowd of white spectators who came the next day to examine the car. The crowd grew and turned into a mob that spent the day and following night on a spree of violence targeting black neighborhoods of East St. Louis. Again, guardsmen were called in, but various accounts suggest they joined in attacking black people rather than stopping the violence. After the riot, varying estimates of the death toll circulated. The police chief estimated that 100 blacks had been killed. The renowned journalist Ida B. Wells reported in the Chicago Defender that 40 to 150 black people were killed in the rioting. The NAACP estimated deaths at 100 to 200. 6,000 African Americans were left homeless after their neighborhood was burned.
Question.
Yes.
Question. Who started the NAACP?
Yes, they did.
Ashkenazi Jews.
Yes.
So do you think that Ashkenazi Jews, even today, they're the ones who spearhead? They get a few black figureheads in to be the face of the organization.
Yeah.
They don't run nothing.
They don't run it.
No. And the agenda is not to help black people.
Right.
Never was.
Just
to keep, never was.
It's to
Control the chaos.
It's to keep order on top of them.
Yeah.
It's funny you bring it up because with Burn for Nation, that the money that they made from that one, which I believe sort of had a lot of I think it ended up funding one of the big studios. I want to say like MGM. MGM was like that's what gave them the money.
One of the big Jewish
houses,
yes.
Yeah, they were all Jewish.
Yes,
They were all.
Absolutely.
You tell your friend you come start Paramount.
MGM, Warner.
They're all orchestrated and run by Jews. Ashkenazi Jews.
It's good to go through history.
Souls of
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah. And the music industry.
Yes. Deeply.
Right. So, that's the history. History is the history. But also we have history in the scriptures, y'all. And it's been said, it's not me the first time saying this, but it's been said of us sitting here and going through scripture that the reason why you read Deuteronomy 28 and why we're in the captivity that we're in today is due to whose fault? Ours.
Our ancestors.
The reason why, yes, absolutely. There's a reason why I wanted to talk about the rich man. He had his opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about Galatians 6 is because whatever it is that you sow, there was one community I want to say that had a Masonic home.
Yes, exactly. Still in wickedness.
Rosewood. 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 Yeah. Which you already know who runs that anyway, like we just brought out.
Yeah.
So.
But they don't even let
don't
the black
Prince Hall.
Prince Hall joined the other,
No,
they get
they're
separated, it's
wrong. Right.
segregated, even amongst that, it's
There you go.
segregated.
There you go. And like I've always said, don't worry, the heathen, the person that does what they do to us, they gonna have their time.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, they going to the lake too, ain't nobody worried about it, they got their right. Whatever it is, the same principle still stands, whatever they sow,
Yes.
they gonna reap.
That's right.
Alright, it is what it is, so I'm not scared of that either. But we also have to take responsibility for what it is that we go.
That's right.
Alright, let's see if this is gonna work, please. Alright. So let's read a little bit of history, my own history, okay, cool. Let's go to Shoftim, I say it right, Shoftim 2. Because honestly and truthfully, if you're reading Judges, y'all, you're gonna read almost a cyclical story over and over and over. So I was like, let's just start with the first one I think out of Judges. So, you want me to read this one? No.
You got it. Marshall got it.
Oh, Marshall already got it.
Marsh, I did, he's got the mic, he's ready.
Boom,
Thank you for being a servant. Oh, yeah.
Somebody verify is correct?
Please, somebody verify if I'm right on this. I'm sorry.
Judges
Alright, Judges 2.
Yes, you are.
Cool.
And an angel of Yahuwah came up from Gilgal to Bochim and said, I made you to go up out of Mitzrayim, and have brought you unto the land which I swore to your fathers. And I said, I will never break my covenant with you, and you shall cut no covenant with inhabitants of this land.
Okay, so the Malachim came down, and he's telling them, I brought you into this land which I swore to your forefathers. Which, I mean, obviously he's just communicating a message, right? That's what Malachim is anyway. Please continue on, please, sir. You shall cut no covenant with the inhabitants of the other
Making
land.
no deals with nobody
Right, don't
else.
cut no
Yeah.
covenant.
And you shall cut no covenant with inhabitants of this land. You shall throw down their altars,
Mhm.
but ye have not obeyed my voice. Why have you done this?
Why you gotta put up a Masonic
What's
card?
wrong with
Yeah.
Why you gotta put up a Masonic card?
Right.
I'm gonna say that over and over again,
Why you
y'all.
gotta wear a little apron? Why you gotta wear a little apron?
Why?
With that star on you. Why you gotta do
Exactly.
that?
Why must you be like that?
intermarrying too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's too. If you cut it, that's what cut the covenant.
That's what it is. Isn't that what got us in trouble the first time? Is because it's perceived that one of the sons of Israel had a covenant with the other nations, women, and then that was a problem.
Yes, that
When
was a
Yahweh
problem.
told you to not do that.
Read about that in Nehemiah and Ezra. Yeah,
There you go.
absolutely. That's the context. Nehemiah, that's you cut the covenant because you being taken to strange who?
Strange
Strange Elohim.
Yeah.
You done lost your whole language in the whole nine.
Yes.
That's where they come from. Anyway, I'm getting emotional. Okay.
Slow learners.
Okay, excuse me.
Slow learners.
All right, my voice, and then.
Wherefore I also said, I will not drive them out from before you, but they shall be as thorns in your side.
I'm gonna keep them around you, just to keep. If I gotta keep you in check, I'm gonna keep these rioters,
That's right.
these looters.
Yeah.
It's the scriptures. Hands, man.
Yeah.
It's our people.
Joy on your side.
Please go ahead, please.
And their Elohim shall be as a snare unto you. And it came to pass when the angel of Yahuwah spoke these words unto all the children of Yasharel, that the people lifted up their voice and wept, and they called the name of that place Bochim, and they sacrificed there unto Yahuwah. And when Yahusha had let the people go, the children of Yasharel went every man unto his inheritance to possess the land. And the people served Yahuwah all the days of Yahusha, and all the days of the elders that had lived Yahusha, who had seen all the great works of Yahuwah that he did for Yasharel.
Interesting. Children of Yasharel went every man unto his inheritance to possess. And the people of Yahweh, all the days of Yahusha, and all the days of the elders that outlived Israel, who had seen the great works of Yahweh that did in Yasharel. They had seen this first. Yeah, they saw it, so they was like, okay, I'm gonna do it.
All the locusts.
The question I got is, did you pass it on to your children?
No.
Oh, y'all say no. Look, y'all got it right. Go ahead, please, sir.
And Yahusha the son of Nun, the servant of Yahuwah, died, being 110 years old. And they buried him in the border of his inheritance in Timnath-Jerah, in the mount of Ephraim, on the north side of the hill of Dash. And also all that generation were gathered unto their fathers. And there arose another generation after them,
That what?
which knew not.
It happens every time.
Continue on, please.
Yahuwah, nor let the works which he had done for Yasharel. And the children of Yasharel did evil in the sight of Yahuwah, and served Baalim. And they forsook Yahuwah Elohai of their fathers, which brought them out of the land of Mishra, and followed other Elohim, or the Elohim of the people that were round about them, and bowed themselves unto them, and provoked Yahuwah to anger. And they forsook Yahuwah, and served Baal and Asherah. And the anger of Yahuwah was hot against Yasharel, and he delivered them into the hands of spoilers that spoiled them. And he sold them into the hands of their enemies round about, so they could not any longer stand before their enemies.
He sold them to their enemies round about. All of those looters, rioters, all of that. He got your Masonic call.
Yeah, it happened.
Yeah, you can't remember the Shabbat.
Right.
You got your Masonic call.
Whithersoever they went out, the hand of Yahuwah was against them for evil, as Yahuwah had said, and as Yahuwah had sworn unto them, and they were greatly distressed. Nevertheless, Yahuwah raised up judges, which delivered them out of the hand of those that spoiled them.
So he raised up people, judges, who were wise. In order to spread their wisdom out. Right? Because yes, you're going to judge, but they're also wise. They got to bring their wisdom to them. Okay? Almost as a go-between, if you will. All right, please.
And yet they would not hearken unto their judges.
They wouldn't do what?
They would not listen.
I ain't going to listen to this wisdom
Yeah.
and all of these elders and all of these people that I got for you.
Right.
Shema Israel.
You ain't gonna listen to your elders. You just and your wise counsel and all of that. Okay. Please go ahead.
But they went to whoring after other Elohim, and bowed themselves unto them. They turned quickly out of the way which their fathers walked in, obeying the commandments of Yahuwah, but they did not so. And when Yahuwah raised them up judges, then Yahuwah was with the judge, and delivered them out of the hand of their enemies, all the days of the judge. For Yahuwah sighed because of their growing, by reason of them that oppressed them and vexed them. And it came to pass, when the judge was dead, that they returned, and corrupted themselves before more than their fathers, in following other Elohim to serve them, and to bow down unto them. They ceased not from their own doings, nor from their stubborn ones. And the anger of Yahuwah was hot against Yasharel. And he said, because that this people has transgressed my covenant which I commanded your fathers, and not hearkened unto my voice, I also will not henceforth drive out any from before them of the nations which Yahushua left when he died.
What was that next thing to say?
Question. It was just a statement. It was just a statement. Go ahead. I was just, and yet they would not hearken unto the
Yet?
Yeah.
Stiffness.
What next, what got me is the verbiage that they use right here, that's used. But they went out a-whoring after other Elohim. They didn't just go out just searching.
Right.
That's kind of.
It's like they couldn't wait.
Yes.
It's like children who ain't trying to listen to their. I'm just trying to keep it out.
How strong that word is that they went out after Elohim that way. That's
Can't wait to get out the house. Can't wait to get out the house and deal with these other. Be real. I mean,
it's kind of.
When you get out here, I'm about to party, baby.
Yeah.
What's your sign?
Exactly. It's like they didn't even, like you said, whoring.
Yeah.
That means multiple. That means not just Buddha,
Right.
not just Krishna. I'm gonna do it all.
It's just tarot cards.
Right.
They didn't care.
Tarot
They just said,
You read my
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, read my poem. I've seen those places right outside church.
and you
Yes.
burn this lavender, burn this
Burn
sage.
this
We need to get rid of them evil spirits.
Yeah, right.
Boring.
Hey, which is kind of an awesome topic. What was the lady's name? I had just researched the other day.
Oh, Nina Simone.
Yeah.
Okay. See, they did a Dove commercial with her. Have y'all seen that?
No.
I heard it loud.
Yeah.
So I went
A Dove commercial.
Dove soap commercial. So in the commercial, it is showing, it's a mother showing the daughter how to burn incense and how to practice yoga. And so subliminal messaging, teaching. Which made me go back and read Susan's life story.
Oh, yeah, that's my story.
Wow, she had a hard life.
It's hard.
She did.
Hard life.
The commandments are the commandments.
That's right.
The commandments are the commandments. Like I said, it looks like that generation, and that's the thing, the generation before should have taught the children. We find that in Deuteronomy, I think 6, somewhere down in 6.
Deuteronomy 6 and 4.
Right, 4 and on down, right? Teaching your children, when you rise up, when you sit down,
That's
all
right.
that, you go by the way. Putting his frontlets in the front of your, all of that. Just do that for your children. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying it's easy. Once again, obviously we see it's hard.
Right.
Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying it's easy. But like like Shamar says, it's simple. It's simple. Hey, let's just read this real quick. You let the Spirit quicken it down, okay? Let the Ruach do his work. But let's just read this.
Train them up.
Right. That's what it is. That last sentence, please, sir.
That through them I may prove, Yasharel, whether they will guard the way of Yahuwah to walk therein,
The way.
as their fathers did guard it, or not.
So he was going to use the other nations. You see how eerily similar all this is?
Yes.
The other nations to prove whether or not they're going to guard, our people are going to guard the way of Yahweh to walk therein.
Therefore Yahuwah left those nations without driving them out hastily, neither delivered he them unto the hand of Yahusha. And read around Arizona.
Now remember when he brought when Elder brought this out during when we looked at it, we looked at the from a different perspective. He was like, man, like all of these outside forces have done a lot to them. But then I gotta ask the question: did internal forces do that to him?
Right.
Did his forefathers
Yeah.
also put him into this situation? Once again, it's somebody. The heathen's gonna get his day. We ain't worried about that. But let's take some responsibility. Yes. Let's stand up. Let's walk. Let's do the work of the Most High.
Is he the part of the third and fourth generation that hate the Most High, and he's reaping what the Most High already told us in the commandments, that it's going to go on to your generation. So it may not be in you, your generation, but because the one previously didn't hearken into the Most High, now he's suffering.
Yeah, there you go. If anybody that's listening overseas, Africa, I ain't assuming y'all neither. Okay? Y'all heard of something called, what is it called? Colonization?
Yeah.
Okay? I'm sorry, we gotta be done with Dogon and all these other people. Okay? And Evi and all this other stuff. Y'all gotta be done with it. Get back to the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High-Yah. Yahuwah. Y'all got Bibles, read it. Okay? All right, let's get to this next verse. Mishaleh 14, 12 through 16. I'll go ahead. You got it? Please go ahead.
There is a way which seems right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. Even in laughter, the heart is sorrowful, and the end of that mirth is heaviness. The backslider in heart shall be filled with his own ways, and a good man shall be satisfied from himself. The simple believes every word, but the prudent man looks well to his goings. A wise man fears and departs from evil, but the fool rages. And is confident.
Rages into it. No, relax, chill. You may be wrong. The possibility is there. Okay.
Right.
Listen to your wise counsel. Wise man fears and departs from evil. Listen to it. A prudent man. What does prudent mean? I know the women.
That needs to be like careful, like
Yep. Careful. Cautious. It was given different types of people. The backslider, he's filled with his own ways. It's a different person. A good man will be satisfied himself with a different person. The simple believes every word, right? The prudent man looks at his well going, that's cool. But the wise man fears and departs from evil. Then it talks about what the fool does, right? Not fools do. That's just very interesting to me. Now this goes right back to the very first slide, the rich man.
yeah.
He was filled in his own ways.
Yeah.
My brothers are filled in their own ways. Please, somebody go save me. And I'm not with speaking of the ancestors, because that really wasn't that. Okay, we walk that out later.
Right
And,
now.
You understand?
because there wasn't speaking to the ancestors for them to save him, per se, like, hey, save, give us salvation. Now, give me salvation. Now, he was trying to get somebody to be sent back out to them and do all of this stuff, right? It wasn't that person. It wasn't Abraham or it wasn't Eliezer that was going to give that. Nah. So anyway. And the reason why I asked that from this slide is because that last sentence says the fool rages and is confident. And I always ask this question. I know I said this at the men's meeting. Do we really think, y'all, we're going to get in front of a holy Kodesh set apart from Most High and then say, you got that wrong?
Shoot.
No, let me defend my point of view.
Yeah, that was not my intention.
That was just, all of this stuff's not my intention. All of that stuff.
You knew my heart though.
Man.
It's the question that I always have. Do we, and I don't got a scripture for it. Y'all ask that question.
Y'all will understand.
Yeah. And it says this is only one sentence. Will it be well with you? This is Job 13:9. Will it be well with you when he searches you out? You just talked about your heart. When he searches you out. Or can you deceive him like you deceive man?
No.
We talked about this.
Yes.
Oh, did you?
Just talking about this.
Can you not?
Lying to yourself.
Yes.
Scriptures.
It was First John chapter 1 and it was 6 through 10. Yeah.
Okay. Hallelujah. I love it when we operate in the spirit, y'all.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times, even Shamar, some people throwing some stuff in the chat that I saw that was eerily similar to what it is we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Which was,
That Galatians was put in the chat this week.
Galatians put in the chat, yeah. I had this already, but anyway, go ahead.
This is all about self-examination.
Yeah.
Self-examination. Self-examination, you guys. That's essentially where I was going to get to at the very last end, but good. Excellent. All right, then we got Proverbs 1, 2 through 5. Please, go ahead, speak it up. Speak it out. Speak it outside voice.
Wow. Yes.
Yes, twi. Y'all look like.
To know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice and judgment, and equity.
Go ahead.
To give subtly to the simple, and to the young man knowledge and discretion. The wise man will hear.
What will the wise man do?
He'll hear.
He'll hear. Okay, let me make sure I get that.
A wise man will hear, and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel.
He's going to attain to wise counsel. This ain't me, this is scripture. It ain't got nothing to do with this. He's going to attain to wise counsel. Go back to the rich man. Go back to our people going through hell, okay? Just attain to wise counsel. Y'all have Bibles. Read the beginning of the Bible.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I want to say it says over and over again, follow these laws and commandments. Follow these laws and commandments. It said this way back 100, 200, how long ago? It said that. Please.
Yeah, I was going to ask a question.
Go ahead.
A rhetorical question.
Yeah.
So, that last line, right? So then, would it be safe to say those who do not get wise counsel would fall under the category of being foolish?
If you look at the antithesis, no, that's a retort. That's good. If you look at the antithesis of increasing learning and increasing that, yes.
He wants to see what they're talking about.
Right. Go down here, please.
That reminds me of Mishle 1:7.
Okay.
The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of knowledge. The fools despise wisdom and instruction.
And that's in what book?
Just Mishle 1:7.
Who wrote
So it's
Mishle?
just 2 Proverbs.
Who wrote Proverbs? Supposedly.
Solomon.
Solomon.
Shalom.
Hallelujah. I just say that only for one reason. Is there something else you want to say?
Oh,
We
no.
good? Okay. All right. Now we're going to read about this. I'll have to read this one because the lettering is off. Oh, no. Go back. All right. See if we can get this. Open right on up. Hallelujah. All right, so we got an article from 1897. Now, this happened all before all this stuff that we just read went down. Okay. Okay? This is going to be, some of y'all have probably heard about this. If you're not, this is pretty cool. This is a report from this, and you see coming from this Hartford, Connecticut Corona newspaper about a colored Hebrew, okay? Which is, the title in itself is very interesting.
Redundant.
Right. All right, it's a Negro that's mute who writes Lashawan Kadash. We'll get there.
Lashawan?
Kadash, yeah.
Tongue.
Yeah, the tongue. Yeah, the set apart tongue. That's all that means, y'all. The set apart tongue. Y'all, some scholars up in here. All right. Let's get to it. He says he comes from a tribe of about 20,000 black Hebrews in Africa. A wonderful story. There has been in this city for the last few days a young African Negro who claims to be a Hebrew. He is deaf and dumb and as black as the ace of spades. He came here from New Haven and is trying to accumulate enough money to go back to Africa. If he is what he represents himself to be, and if what he claims is true, he is quiet and interesting character. Quiet thing. He carries a pad of paper with him and a pencil and answers all questions by writing them in Hebrew and Lashawan Kadash, the set apart tongue. What excites the most wonder is that he writes Lashawan Kadash very rapidly in the language of the books of Moses and has made a special study of them. I think that's what they say. Okay, and spoken and written with ease. Only by the rabbi and highly educated Hebrew. This Negro was sent to one of the rabbis of Hartford, who is perfectly satisfied that he is a Hebrew.
Hello.
He says that he came from a large town in Africa where there are a tribe of about 20,000 black Hebrews who speak Lashawan Kadash and are quite prosperous. Y'all know we're going back to, y'all. It's all in the context. Where we pointed out to me, I literally cannot see it. All right, he also says that his father is a rabbi in the town, and that is why his father took the trouble to teach him to write these languages, thank y'all, which needed an extra amount of labor on account of his being deaf and dumb. He says that his people not only write Lashawan Kadash, but it is their speaking language as well. He left home a few years ago and has seen a good deal of the world. Now, I just put that out there, and it's a good, long, nice part of the article. But I asked this question after reading that. I was like, what if our people was the Most High sent a judge, sent somebody that was wise, sent somebody who had some understanding? Just because all he needed was one. Sent them to these communities, and he was just trying to wake up folks because he was doing it right then and there. Hey, Lashawan Kadash, I'm writing rapidly, and I'm from Hebrew. I'm a Hebrew. I'm from the town back in Africa.
Can't even talk.
All of that.
That's right.
All of that.
It's right.
Of course, in his, him being deaf and dumb. But I'm saying he was still putting it out there. He was still putting it out there. So that was one of the things that just interested me. And I'm like, man, what if we had somebody that was out there? So once again, not everything is real. Y'all know this.
How many times?
We don't know how many deaths actually happened.
Right.
Like, let's be honest about it. So I thought that was interesting. I will make that available, when we save it to the cloud. Yeah. So that's something I want to bring out. Now, the next slide. Here we go. Speaking of that vision that he probably had, that he was trying to warn people of. Here we go. And you think that he was the only person out of the 20,000 in his? No. So, all right. So Mishle 1:20 through 31. Let's see what we gonna get today. We got this microphone. Yeah, okay. Will done stepped up at the right time. Oh, and Texas is right here. How about that? We got it on? Do we have it on?
No.
You said you wanted to read. Anyway, you got it? You got all of this? You see how it's going? Okay. All right. Go ahead. Speak your outside one.
Wisdom cries without. She utters her voice in the streets. She cries in the chief place of concourse. In the opening of her gates, in the city, she utters her words, saying, "How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity?" And the scorners delight in their scorning, and the fools hate knowledge.
The fools do what? The fools do what?
The fools hate knowledge. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my ruach unto you. I will make known my words unto you.
Pause real quick. Pause. Now, it said we in the what testament?
It's supposedly
Supposedly old. It's talking about the ruach.
Right.
Falling on the people.
Already.
If you ain't being led by the ruach, which is going to lead you in all truth. We're talking about the spirit, right? We're talking about the spirit of truth.
Yeah.
We read about that in John 14, I want to say.
Yeah.
But and also some other places in Psalms. But it's still the spirit that's going to come on you.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. Please go ahead, Texas. Because I have called.
Because I have called, and ye refuse, I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. I will also laugh at your calamity.
That's hard. That's heavy, y'all. Now we get to a different level. We get to a different level, y'all.
Yeah.
He's gonna laugh at your calamity, and that's actually that's kind of scary for me. Go ahead. I will mock.
I will mock when your fear comes. When your fear comes as desolation, and when your destruction comes as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish comes upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For they that hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of Yahuwah, they would none of my counsel.
None of the counsel.
They despise reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own ways, and be filled with their own device.
That's right. Thank you.
Talk about fruit.
Yes.
Talk about fruit. You're producing something. It's either good or it's not good, but it's fruit nonetheless.
Right.
Nonetheless,
Yep.
you reap what it is that you sow.
You're gonna eat it.
Either the flesh or the spirit.
That is, y'all. That is just he's gonna mock when my fear comes.
See? Laugh at you.
And knowledge is just, it's the same thing. It's, once again, it's wisdom, it's understanding. Knowledge is, hey, I'm putting these people in front of you, this counsel, to give you some understanding, to give you some knowledge and some wisdom. But,
Are you gonna eat?
are you going to heed to it? Are you going to heed to it? That's a great question. Are you going to heed to it?
Are you gonna kick against the prick?
Because I ain't got time to be laughed at, okay? I wish I could circle that. But anyway, I ain't got time to be laughed at. No.
Leave to your own.
You want something in the Torah? We got it. Because it's in Deuteronomy 28, one of the major chapters that had me turn to the Most High.
Yeah.
I will mock. He said he's gonna mock.
Mm-hmm.
In fear.
You ready? Little Will? Deuteronomy 28, 63 to 65. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass that as Yahuwah rejoiced over you to do you good and to multiply you, so Yahuwah will rejoice over you to destroy you, and to bring you to naught. And ye shall be plucked from off the land whither you go to possess it.
Wherever you will go. Wherever y'all will go. Go ahead.
And Yahuwah shall scatter you among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there you shall serve other Elohim, which neither you nor your fathers have known, even wood and stone.
A lot of us is wrapped up in Islam, and Christianity, and Egyptology for sure. Yeah. A small sector, it's almost like, but still they're there, right? The woke crowd.
And among these nations shall you find no ease, Neither shall the sole of your foot have rest. But Yahuwah shall give you there a trembling heart, and failing eyes, and sorrow of mind.
Thank you. Yeah. He's going to rejoice. Yeah. He's going to laugh at our calamity. He's going to rejoice. Why? Because I've sent you a person, you have to judge, you have to wise counsel. You said, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to do my own thing, yes. Son in the flesh, yeah. I've said all of these people. This ain't really one of those. It's going to be a whole lot of, just them. This is going to be one of those. We gotta introspectively do our thing, y'all.
Yes. Get it together.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it. So, got a question for y'all. Let's see if we can get this. What was the word that we started out at the beginning? Very beginning. In Hebrew, it's called what? Say it again. Yareh. Where was it? So, what does fear mean? To be in awe of? To respect? Or is it like dreadful? Dreadful?
All three of them. It could be all three.
It could be all three.
That depends who you fear. Yeah. Different kinds of fear. Yeah.
Okay. So we got some people saying it's dreadful, some people saying respect. All three? Okay. Let's see. Now we got that word. See, we ain't gonna say y'all right. No, we ain't saying that. What'd you say, sir?
Unless you say Yahuwah, right?
You're right. All right, y'all ready? Y'all hit it. All right, what I have from the page is right. We got hand. That's what that yod is. Hand that's closing upon to work and be done, finish work. Resh, head person. What is the highest, most important? Olive, ox, bull, gentle. So I'm just gonna go around. What do y'all think that is? I'll put it together. It's being subjective, but you can still sort of get the picture.
A finished work that is most important. But what is first?
Gotcha. Finished work is most important than what?
What is first?
What is first? So when you're fearing, that's what that is. Saying it's the finished work of what's most important. That fear. Okay. All right. Any other tribes? That or what?
A deed done. A deed done to what's most important. To be taught? Yeah, to teach or to lead or to the leader.
Okay. All right, interesting. So what I ended up coming up with, I was thinking about fear so far, and yes, I know I kind of have a little way into this, right? But this is what I ended up coming up with.
Man, I should have followed my first line.
It's a hand, because it's a hand that's closing upon. What is the highest? All right, we serve the most high. All right. That has strength, because I know anybody in here ain't scared of no weak son.
No.
Okay? No. We scared of strength. It's gonna be strength and dominance that you're gonna be scared of. Yeah. Right.
I know the hair blowing in the wind.
It is what it is. You said blowing in the wind?
Yeah. I said just hair blowing in the wind.
That's why when that Will Stone came up, I was gonna say how many different, and remember, if we're dealing with the slave trade, a lot of our people are in one of the most populous countries. Most of the people that went to a country was in Brazil. There you go. It was in Brazil. You have more that went there than went here.
Yeah.
Way more. A lot more. And Huguenin brought out in one of the lessons. What's over there?
That big old giant.
Yeah.
Touchdown Jesus.
Touchdown, yeah. Touchdown. One person in the chat, I want to say his boy, he said, Satan. Alright. So to the answer to y'all's question. Here you go. It's fear. Like we just said. Right? It's dealing with also respect. Like you just said, reverence. Right? Yeah, and piety and all of it. It's still, so all of that. It was all of them. It was all of it, yeah. Let's go back to it, yeah. And dreadful, respect and all of, yes. The Most High that's I can't even consider. Isaiah 55:9 talks about, I can't even consider just a thought of the Most High. I can't even consider a thought. Not even, if you were to peek and just to see a little bit of his mind, I believe, honestly and truthfully, you go crazy.
Yeah.
You would go bananas, okay? Banana split, any of them, pick it. So no, I don't think that the Most High, that I can just try to get over the Most High. That's why at the very beginning with our mission statement, one of the words I wanted to hone in was which one?
Yeah.
Meekness. Which is what in Hebrew? Anva. Alright. So here we go. We got Tehilliym 11, 111, and 10. Alright, ready to get? Let's get it.
The fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. His praise endures forever.
Now who wrote Psalm? Who wrote Tehilliym? And who wrote Proverbs? Or Mishlei? His son. So he wanted to make sure that those commandments was handed right on down.
Yeah.
He read obviously his forefathers and Shoftim too, and said, no, I'm good. I don't want to end up like them.
Yeah.
Okay? Let me go ahead and teach my son everything. And now we sometimes call Solomon or Shlomo or Jedediah the most what? Wise person there is. That's interesting. Now, of course, towards the end of his life, he went crazy.
Yes. Didn't apply that wisdom.
No. Right. He was straight up in love with some other nations. We'll say it like that.
Turned his heart.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Amen. Now, this is the last verse in Tehilliym 111. I think it is. And then, to me, it's the precursor for Tehilliym 112. I need somebody to go ahead and read it all to me. Let's read all of it. You got what we said.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Let me revive you. That fears Yahuwah, that delights greatly in his commandments. His seed shall be mighty upon earth.
His what?
Mighty. His seed shall be mighty upon earth.
So hold on, let me make sure. Whatever the Father does, that means his seed is going to do well on this earth. Right, you got to light the commandments, you got to follow that, but you got to go ahead and invest into your children. All right, go ahead.
The generation of the Yasharim shall be blessed. Wealth and riches shall be in his house, and his righteousness endures forever.
Okay.
Unto the Yasharim there arises light in the darkness. He is gracious and full of compassion and righteous.
Now hold on. Now, I know I talked about the rich and all that, and it's hard for a rich man, and the scripture deals with money on so many different levels. But right here, we say, no, ain't nothing wrong with having some money if you're doing the right thing with your money. There you go. I just figured that was a good thing to see. Because I don't want to come down and just have money. I ain't saying that's a bad thing. No, ain't nobody saying that. But so I can get lost, y'all. I'm telling you, I'll tell these people. All right, yes, a good man, please.
Okay. A good man shows favor and lends. He will guide his affairs with discretion. Surely he shall not be moved forever. The righteous shall be in everlasting remembrance. He shall not be afraid of an evil report. His heart is fixed, trusting in Yahuwah. His heart is established. He shall not be afraid until he sees his desire upon his enemies.
Whoa. Until he sees what?
His desire upon his enemies.
It's a scary thing.
That is.
Most High is going to allow you to desire. They don't teach this in church, y'all. I'm just telling y'all straight up. Just to walk that through. Because we ain't going to glance over that. Oh no, he said, no, I'm going to let you see your desire over your enemies. Just leave it at that. Please continue.
He has dispersed, he has given to the poor. His righteousness endures forever. His horn shall be exalted with honor.
His horn, the horn of his salvation is who?
Yeah. Well, Mashiach.
That's right. Go ahead.
The wicked shall see it and be grieved. he shall gnash it with his teeth and melt away. The desire of the wicked shall perish.
Now, what's interesting is that we put something in the chat, I think this week, dealing with Sirach 12, and how you're supposed to take care of your brother, and how you ain't to give. It's just what Sirach 12 says. Y'all read it on yourself. You know what I'm saying? Read it for yourself. How you ain't supposed to be dealing with somebody that ain't dealing with the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High. Talking about just giving, like to the poor and all of that.
Right.
Anyway, that was very interesting to read. Now, if you want to adhere to it or hold to it, that's a whole other thing. But we read about that in Tobit last week. So that was just very interesting. Alright. So now we have this, I think it's going to be the last slide. I know everybody, we read this. Alright. Now we also like to talk about Ecclesiastes 12:13, which is a beautiful verse. I agree with that. But the last verse in there, on that last chapter, last verse also says this. It says, for Elohim shall bring every work into judgment. Every secret thing, whether it be good. And I think you talked about something good and bad. You said it earlier.
Good fruit or bad fruits, what you said.
Or fruits. Good fruit or bad fruit. There's going to be some sort of fruit. And the Most High says, what? I'm going to judge every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. That's it, y'all.
Hallelujah.